Hey everybody, welcome to Hugg the Chefs. I'm Dane Hugg.
And I'm Jared Hugg.
And today we will be cooking you sesame chicken with fried rice.
Cheers to that, brother.
Cheers.
Slam. Okay, welcome back everybody to Jared's Alcoholic Corner. And so today I'm going to tell everybody a little bit about this kind of sake. So this is a Gaikikan black and gold sake. It's a junmai style of sake, which the different types of sake are actually determined by how much they polish and mill the rice down. So you have a grain of rice, and then they basically polish and mill it down until it's a certain percentage, usually 60 to 70% for most junmais. This is important because this is where the majority of your flavor comes from within most sakes. All right, so now I'm going to show everybody how to make the sauce. This is probably the longest part of the entire recipe, so this is why we're going to go through this one first. Rice wine vinegar, you're going to need about an ounce. Sesame oil, about another ounce. Your sweet chili, you're going to have about 4 to 5 ounces. Soy sauce, I like to use Tempio because it's got a lot better flavor. It's fermented a little bit longer, but you can use any soy sauce you want. You need roughly 2 ounces. Oyster sauce, you need about an ounce, and then your ketchup, roughly 3 to 4 ounces of this, depending on how thick you want it. This is going to be your binder for everything in the sauce. Then we go to garlic. Garlic you need about a tablespoon of, and then chopped up ginger, which fresh ginger is always going to be better. You need about a teaspoon of that. Roughly together, the whole entire recipe, cooking time and reduction, you're going to need about 45 minutes. Okay, so now we're going to start making the sauce. And as you can see, I have everything measured out. I must drink all of this. All right, so we're going to start with our sesame oil. Now it's real important that you kind of preheat your pan, but you don't overheat your oil. Sesame oil has a really low smoke point, so things will start to kind of smoke very quickly. We're going to add in our ginger. And we're going to add in our garlic. You kind of want to let them brown. It's not really too bad if you add more garlic than you need. But what you want to do here is you want to kind of brown them up and give them that flavor. You want to roast the garlic with the sesame oil. I keep this on low to medium heat. Honestly, I go a little bit higher than medium, but you don't want to go into the high area. That's going to cause your oil to burn, and you will not be happy with the results. So you want it to have a nice kind of deep brown. You don't want it to be a light brown. You want it to kind of have a deep brown. So you transfer all the flavor into the oil, and then the oil transfers all the flavor into everything else. All right, so now you can kind of see around the edges, we're starting to get that kind of darker brown. This is about where we want to be. So what we're going to do is deglaze. Now deglazing is hugely important because what you're going to do is kind of give it that light flavor of whatever it is you're deglazing it with. So we're going to use our rice wine vinegar here to kind of deglaze. The deglazing process happens quick. Now once we get all that vinegar out, look at that brown. Look at the brown of that garlic so you can see it. It's beautiful. Now we're going to hit it with our soy sauce and deglaze again. Now, you don't want to cook the soy sauce down too much because what it's going to do is add a little bit too much salt. So at this point, we're going to add in our oyster sauce, our ketchup, and then finally our sweet chili sauce. This is where you want to turn this down to really, really, really low heat. This is just going to be a simmer. You've already cooked out most of the things you need to cook out. So you're going to turn it down to really, really low simmer. Now I want everybody to keep in mind, if you don't turn this down to a low simmer, this will boil out all over your stove and it will burn you because this stuff is like hot lava as opposed to cold lava.
All right, so Jared's in the bathroom, and one key ingredient that he missed in this was unadulterated honey. So we're gonna add a tablespoon of this and some sesame seeds, which normally we would add at the end of the sauce, but we're gonna add it in the middle of the sauce. First, your sesame seeds. And then 1 tablespoon of honey.
What are you doing, man?
All right, so while our sauce is simmering for the sesame chicken, we're going to be doing our rice in a pressure cooker. Now we have chosen jasmine rice. We're going to do about 2 cups. It'll yield about 6 cups. So that's the first cup because we don't have a bigger measuring cup. So 2 cups into the pressure cooker. Then we're going to add 3 cups of water, which is 1.5 cup per cup. Now we're going to add our water. So it's 3 cups. And we're going to add an ounce of sake. Slam!
Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys how to do the chicken. So what we did was we took basically a double lobe chicken breast. It doesn't really matter. You can use chicken breast, you can use chicken thigh. And we cut it up into cubes and we marinated it in sesame oil and a little bit of the soy sauce. What we've got here is I've got cornstarch with a little bit of salt in it. You know, the ratio doesn't really matter. It's probably about a quart of cornstarch to, say, 2 ounces of salt. Then at this, we have 5 eggs and about a half a cup, 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream. And you know, obviously if you want to add a little bit more heavy cream, it's going to thin it out and make it a little easier. And then we've got regular all-purpose flour here with salt in it too. You want to make sure you season everything well because chicken's kind of a thick meat and you want to make sure you get the seasoning all the way around it. So I like to use 2 different hands, obviously, because I have 2 hands. But one hand's going to be for your kind of the wet stuff, your chicken, and this, and then the other hand's going to be used for your dry stuff. This keeps your hands from caking up and getting that like batter around your hands. So what I'll do is I'll add the chicken into the cornstarch here. Kind of toss it up, make sure it's coated all around. It's real important that you knock the excess off. So I take it, I like to do this, roll it around, and then drop it into here. It's okay if you touch this hand into some of the cornstarch. You just don't want to go from cornstarch back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So knock the cornstarch off. Okay. So now I'll use this hand and kind of slurry it around. What you'll notice is when you bread chicken or you bread anything, you kind of pick the piece up out of the mixture, and sometimes the cornstarch the egg will flow off the cornstarch, and you'll see it. But as you can see, this is breaded pretty perfectly. So I like to move all these around. Get this stuff out of here. See, that's exactly what happened right there. You can see the cornstarch. You want to make sure that that's not what happens. You want the whole thing coated in egg. All right. So we'll get it from here. Go into our flour, and then I use my other hand. This way, it's just coated in the flour and not a caked up mess. So shake it around, make sure you get all the excess flour off, and make sure you get all the egg surface area onto the flour. And then I'm going to put these things onto the tray, and as everybody can see right here, they're pretty much ready for frying. What the heck is this? I am laser turrets, and I will shoot you with oil. All right, everybody. So what I did here was pretty much we got a soybean oil, a little bit of vegetable oil, and a little bit of sesame oil, and mix them together. So what that does is sesame oil has a really low smoke point, but soybean oil and vegetable oil have a really high smoke point. So what we can do here is take the sesame oil smoke point up. So I'm gonna drop my chicken in here and, ooh, yes. And we're gonna let it fry. You know, you don't want to add too much because what it's going to do is lower the temperature of the oil so much that it won't fry well. And you want to kind of fry, like if you drop things in and then you drop it 2 minutes later in, what you're going to get is you're going to get not even. Some are going to be done, some aren't going to be done. And as you guys can see, that fry is beautiful. It's perfect, nice and crispy on the outside. And what the cornstarch does with the egg is kind of puff up and give it a nice little crispiness to it. Okay, so now we've got the chicken all fried up. Look at it, it looks freaking beautiful. So what I'm gonna do is add some sauce to it and kind of toss it all around. So we got our finished sauce. Somebody already added sesame seeds too. I don't know who, but whatever. Toss it up. Looks like we need more sauce. Yes, sauce. Now you want to make sure that you don't have too much sauce. Yeah, that's almost perfect. Got yourself nice sesame, nice chicken. Sauced up beautiful. I think we got a winner right there.
All right, so for the fried rice, we're gonna start with our wok, which is a seasoned wok. As you can see, it's seen some serious action here. And we're gonna start off with sesame oil, which will burn at high heat, which you also want it on high heat, so it sears everything to a nice crisp. But we're also going to mix it with some olive oil, so you can change the viscosity of it so it won't burn as fast normally. Now, if you have vegetable oil, that would be better because olive oil has a low burn rate, so, or burn temperature, I must say. And so mix these together. Vegetable oil would be ideal. Get them nice and hot. Now we're going to brown our garlic and our ginger together off the bat. So I have 1 ounce of garlic in a shot glass, as you can see. You want this like you would with my brother's sauce. You want it nice and brown with a nice crisp on the edges. You don't want to do it too much, because then you'll burn it and you'll get the burn flavor throughout your entire batch of rice. Once you get a nice brown on the ginger and garlic, you're going to want to add your broccoli, because we didn't blanch this, so if you'd want to blanch it prior, you'd want a lower heat. But at this point, we're going to do raw broccoli, so we can crisp up the florets. You want this pretty small. You don't want large florets, so it won't cook throughout. So you want to toss it in the ginger and garlic and coat it. Get the oil inside of the broccoli so it has good flavor. And so we're probably going to cook this for 1 to 2 minutes on about medium heat. Add 3 eggs. The reason we do this now instead of after we start the rice is because if you add the eggs after, you will get a creaminess throughout the fried rice, which is, it's not bad. You can do this, yet you kind of want chunks of egg throughout the fried rice. So once it's back up to full heat and all your vegetables are cooked and seared, You want to add your eggs. You have a nice coating in your vegetables, which will incorporate itself throughout the rice once you add it. Once it's fully cooked, you want to add your rice. So this is the pressure cooker rice. Just throw the whole thing in there. So this is why we want it on high heat. It's because you want to sear the rice. You want to break it up from its formation that you would have in a pressure cooker. Chop it up in between. And make sure you incorporate the onions and garlic and ginger and green onions, or broccoli, into the rice. You want a nice sear on the bottom. You probably want to stir it roughly every 10 seconds. At this point, while it's searing on the bottom, we are going to add our salt, which should be probably 1 tablespoon of salt, because the salt in the soy sauce is going to incorporate enough for everybody else. Now we used the 6 cups that we cooked earlier of rice, the entire thing. You probably want about 3 cups of broccoli. Small florets, so if you get it at the store, you want to cut off the stalk and cut it probably large marble sized. You want it pretty small so it cooks throughout if you're not blanching it prior. You can hear the sound of the rice searing on the bottom, which is why you want that high heat. You can see as the rice starts to brown on the bottom, this is exactly what you want. You want to make sure you're constantly stirring it or flipping it in the pan to make sure it doesn't burn too much. We're using a wooden spoon so we don't damage the rice and break it up so it's this big mush, and also to constantly stir it so it's not burning on the bottom. If you know how to flip a pan, that is ideal over a wooden spoon, but you know, for the experience level, do as you will. So while it's browning on the bottom, what we're going to add is our soy sauce first and then the oyster sauce. We're going to use the same soy sauce that my brother used earlier. And we're going to add it around the pan, not directly into the rice. We want it to get to the bottom and coat the bottom of it, so while you're flipping it, it incorporates it into all the flavors.
So, here's pretty much our finished product. You know, we've got the fried rice, we've got the sesame chicken. So, you know, overall what this did was that we cooked probably enough for about a family of 6. There's about 6 portions, they're pretty big portions here. You know, yeah, we only have 3 out here, but overall we have about 6 portions worth of food. You know, just to kind of top things off at the end, put a little bit of that sesame around that chicken.
Yeah.
Looking perfect and beautiful. You know, get yourself a little bit more sake with this, but all right. So
Definitely, we might have finished the bottle. We might
have already finished.
That's neither here nor there.
Whatever.
You know, give it a try, and if you like it, feel free to comment on our page and enjoy.
Yeah. And so, just to let everybody know, I'm signing off now. Hug the Chefs. I'm Jared Hugg.
I'm Dane Hugg.
And we're Hugg the Chefs. Thanks, everybody.